This was when he was 1 year, 10 months or something, not even 2. We had been to Karwar on a holiday, and those times we had a huge video camera, and he wanted to hold on to it and use it. He did not even know how to talk, he was not even talking then. We said, no, it's too big for you, Pramit. No, I want it, and all that crying and all he had to take it that day. So that's how maybe it started for him, the love for camera, taking pictures. Yeah, then.
I think it was in the year 2011. I had this DSLR camera and I thought, let me learn photography. So I went for this course, a 2-day workshop. And after the first day, I came home and explained Pramit what I learned. He was all ears. And he had few questions. So next day when I got back, he was waiting for me. He was eager to know what new I learned that day. After that, the camera belonged to him. A few weeks later, he was the one who was telling me more about photography even more than what I had learned. And the science behind the camera, how the camera functions. That's how intense he was. When he took up something, he was very serious about it.
Pramit, I met him when he joined the college, but then I really got to know him when he was in my class, which was in his second year. So I've seen him grow as a person, but more as a photographer, because I used to see his work. And one thing I definitely saw was the photographer Pramit. The photographer in him developing from taking pretty well composed pictures to then really towards the end of the year, really thinking about photography as a medium and how the medium itself can affect and the language can say certain things. Be it a still life they're done of clay, where the slight positioning or personification of the pots could said a lot, and we discussed about it, and he knew what he was doing. He knew that angle would play out to invoke a certain visual pleasure. Other than that, I knew Pramit mostly through his work, so I came to know he liked music because he did a video on music on a person called Ravi. And the video was beautifully shot. He had done those portraits, and again you could really see whether I think it was the subjects he chose, which were really close to him. Hence, he could do a very well job at getting things across to the viewer and to me as a teacher. One of the visual stories he did was on the metal worker. Again, I think he was called Siddesh or Suresh, one of those. And beautiful short images. I mean, I remember sitting with him for over, it seemed like a lot, but I don't know, more than half an hour, 45 minutes. And we couldn't choose which images to eliminate to make a final selection. And you could see how much it was thought through, because just placing an image next to the other one, he had thought for everything. Why did he want to put it before or after? Why didn't he want to end with a certain image? And again, as a tutor, it's a pleasure to have someone who thinks so much about not only about taking a photo, but then laying it out and what it represents and how the narrative works. So yeah, I mean, in work, he was commendable. I think everybody will agree with that. Whether it's stories or conceptual art or even commercial art.
When you travel through the lens of lush green and serene seas, one thing you're bound to see are homes, so wonderfully decorated with colors for your eyes to take heed. This has been ingrained into our culture for centuries, and like many Goan traditions, began with the Portuguese, who had a couple of rules. White was reserved for the churches as it symbolized purity and goodness, and after each monsoon, all houses were to be painted one of the 4 colors: a yellow, a blue, a red, and a green. These are the traditional colors of Goa, a sight that can still be savored all around our land. As years went by, we embraced this vibrant identity, and today it has blossomed into a form of one's self-expression, and in some cases, even a bit of competition. The colors of our homes are a true reflection of the people living in them. We are colorful people, so it's obvious we need houses that can keep up. Here, you can find some of the most colorful houses in the world. Ones that from besides paddy fields to city centers find their place to belong. It is no surprise to me that only a setting as kind and accommodating as Goa can enable this. These are the very values that encompass the essence of our people, the true colors of Goa.
I think I know him more as a photographer than personally. So about his work, I think it was one of the highlights of every review was to see his work, because it was always new or interesting. He would always challenge you with ideas, and you'd have to be at the top of your game to, talk to him about it or discuss it with him. And him as a photographer and talking photography with him made you question your photography and sort of raise your game a little bit, which I think was one of the most beautiful things about working with him and reviewing his work, is that it always pushed you to be a little better as well.
But one of the things that I picked on him very often is, I said, up your color index. What that means is he was working with dark colors, black and whites and other things. So I told him, Pramit, let's try and do one assignment where you can bring in a lot of color. And then what does he go and do this? He kind of goes and shoots this very, very bright kind of thing. You'll see the pictures, and his book is a pleasure because it's well put together, and his work ethics, as a student, his work ethic was superb.
Pramit had made a portfolio for his for college. Just flipping through it and just seeing all these photographs, and he sat down and he told me how he went about making the photographs, or rather clicking the photographs, and the people that he interviewed for it, the subjects of the photograph, the kind of stories that they carried. And with just that, I could see that he had a lot of passion, and I was very happy that he had taken up photography that I was really passionate about. It was nice to see him doing the thing that he loved.
The next time I got to interact with Pramit was as early as middle of last year, 2019, and he spoke to me and my son about the possibility of doing a project, and we were more than happy to say yes. The project involved him spending about 1 week at our place. He was more like a fly on the wall, and that's how he wanted it, because he wanted to capture the moments at our work environment. And at the end of it, not only was I impressed by the outcome, but he brought in his portfolio, and I was amazed at the kind of depth that he had gone to into studying his subjects, and then converting a simple photo shoot into something way beyond that, to tell stories.